everyone. So our instructional video this week looks a little bit different or sounds a little bit different because the only assignment that you have on your plate this week is this project, the time management assignment. So I'm going to spend the next 5 minutes walking through the project with you and just going through the expectations so that you are all set up for success for this really fun and dynamic project. Believe it or not, we only have 2 projects left of this entire course. So the rest of the semester is going to fly by. And both projects are going to challenge you to step outside of the screen and also have conversations with other folks that would hopefully be inspiring and teach you a few things along the way. So obviously with this project in mind, it ties to our learning on decision making and planning, as well as encompasses all of the learning we've done so far in the course on managerial theories and the like. And it has you, like I said, communicating with others and stepping outside of the computer screen for a little while. So I'm going to take you through what this project is, and we'll have some fun along the way, hopefully. For the purposes of this project, what I do ask is that you do make a copy of this document. There is sort of a specific protocol here that I would ask for you to follow, and that I will not mark it unless this protocol is followed. So specifically making a copy of this document and then sharing it with me and providing me specifically with editing access. I've noticed just a few times some folks in this classroom have done this and shared it with me, but have not provided editing access, or when they do, in the revision history, it looks as though everything has sort of been copied in from another site or source. In those circumstances, I cannot accept your work. So just again, the idea here is that this is done over the course of the week, and that I'll be able to see that process, because process is really in many ways more important than product. And in circumstances where, you don't meet deadlines or what have you, if you have most of the assignment done and, a little bit left to do, at least the bulk of the assignment is there to be marked. So really important that you follow that protocol. Also, very important that you connect to our learning on planning as well as decision making. So do make sure that you've gone through that reading and that you've finished all of those bits and pieces, okay? So this assignment is due Monday, April 29th at 8 a.m. as always in Dropbox. And you have the whole week to work on this assignment. So with that in mind, you've got the whole week. So my expectations are that you will spend the whole week working on this. When you're done, or when you have decided who you're going to be interviewing for this assignment, you'll be filling in this document as well. I'm going to come back and explain this at the end because it will make more sense once I go through the actual assignment. Okay, so let's get into the assignment. So part A is the interview. So in this question, I want you to think about who you would like to interview. My ask for this is that you interview someone who is a business professional, somebody that works in a professional environment, not a student. So not a friend, unless your friend is, has graduated from a trade or program of some sort of environment and they're working in a professional environment. Okay. So some examples could include a coach, a teacher, instructor, aunt, what have you. Now, what's important to acknowledge is that for your next and final project of this course, you will be also interviewing someone, and it's going to be a much more robust and detailed interview. And this person does have to be someone outside of your home. So, and it also has to be someone different from who you're interviewing now. So with that in mind, some students might choose to interview a parent for this assignment because they know that they're not going to be able to for the next project. I do always recommend we step outside of our comfort zone and we interview someone outside of our parents. But, at the end of the day, sometimes we don't even know very much about what our parents do. And so if you feel compelled to do that for this assignment, it would be okay. But just please understand that the person that you interview for the next project does have to be different than the one that you interview for this. And they cannot be someone that lives within your home. Okay, so that's important. Once you figure out who you want to interview, like I said, I want you to sign up on this document here. Notice that there is a place to sign up for Project 3, which is the one that we're doing right now, and Project 4, which we're going to be doing later. So you don't have to worry about this column until you actually get to that project. So you can just disregard that. When you get into the planning project here for our document today, I just ask that you fill in your name and then who you're going to be interviewing, okay, for this, and the relationship to the person. This column here is important to fill in if you plan to relay your interview through transcribing. I really recommend that you video or audio record the interview because it's just documented evidence. So things that students will do is, they might record a Zoom call, or they might do an audio record, or they may do a video record where the person is kind of off the screen if that person is uncomfortable. Although please acknowledge that I am the only one that's going to be listening to these interviews. They will not be shared outside of this space, okay? If you are going to be transcribing the interview, so you might ask the question and then you have them answer and you write the answer down, then I do need a personal contact so that I can contact that person and just make sure that that interview was actually done and that you didn't fabricate it. Okay, so that is a requirement of the project. I've explained that a little more thoroughly here. So you may do a voice or video recording of this interview. If you do a voice or video recording, you do not need to provide contact information of the interviewee. And again, I'm explaining that a little bit more further. Okay, so once you have identified who your interviewee is going to be, you can complete the next section. So my interview is such and such, their contact email and information for verification. Again, you don't have to include it if you include a voice or audio recording. I selected this person because, and then you're going to ask the following questions of this individual, okay? So how would you define the importance of time management and planning in achieving professional success? What happens to you if you miss a deadline at work? What happens if you miss a bill payment or miss paying your taxes? How do deadlines come into play in regular life, etc.? Okay? So those are 5 interview questions that you're going to compile together and share as evidence of that interview. Once you do that, you move into the second portion. In this section, you're going to choose 3 teachers that you have worked with in the past, that you like, that you respect, that have been good mentors to you, or teachers that you're working with right now. And they don't have to be teachers. They can also be administrators, okay? And you're going to ask them the following questions and then record their answers. And then again, the same thing applies. So some students will audio record it, video record it, or transcribe. If you transcribe, I do need the contact Halton District School Board email of those teachers, okay? So the questions you're going to ask is, what is time management important to academic success? And what is one piece of advice that you would give a student to help them improve their time management skills? Now, again, evidence of these interviews is very important. Don't disregard how much teachers within the Halton District School Board know each other. I've been teaching for 16 years, so I know a lot of teachers. For example, one year I had a student say that such and such teacher was interviewed, and this person happens to be one of my dear friends. And so I asked, and they obviously did say that this person did not. So, don't be sketchy like that. You obviously have to do the work, so make sure that you're showing evidence and proof that you've done the work, okay? Part C. Okay, so this is where the fun comes in. So now that you've done your interviews, you've got a little bit of information about what professional adults in your environment discern about time management and planning and things like that, you are going to engage in your own SMART goal planning challenge. Okay, so here is your challenge. So it's a future, and you are a manager for an up-and-coming agency. It doesn't have to be a marketing agency. Sorry, I had written that in, but I take it out. Any kind of agency that sort of works for you, and you are opening up a cutting-edge office space for a staff of approximately 35 people. Your challenge is to design your ideal office space for you and your staff. Use what we have learned about the future of work and current office spaces from the work we've done in Unit 1. Use what you've learned from managerial theories from Unit 1, and use what you've learned already in decision-making and planning, okay, from the readings that we've done. Have fun with this and get creative. So you can choose any industry. So for example, if you have aspirations to become a doctor, maybe you're setting up your own clinic, right? So it can really be any sort of field or agency, just depending on sort of the nature of where you believe your career might go. So have fun with it, do some research, and run with it. Okay, so the criteria is that this model has to be created by hand, okay? So you have to physically create this model. You can do a rendering or a drawing, but it should be rendered to scale, and it should include a legend to expand on the model so I can understand sort of, obviously it's going to be smaller than an office space, so you've got to think about the measurements and whatnot. Of course, 3D models are welcome for that level 4++, and you must document your process. In the age of AI, I have no idea whether a drawing is yours or someone else's, especially in a virtual space. So you need to show evidence of that by taking photos, video footage as you work through the process of creating this model with you in the video. Okay, you need to show that you have done the work. If I can't tell, then I'm going to have a big question mark over my head about it, right? So you're going to video document this process, showing me how you've actually compiled it together, okay? When you are done generating the video, you put the video link in this little box here, okay? Side note, I do every once in a while have students who are in computer programming come to me and say, like, can I create, build an office space using like something like Tinkercad or something like that. In circumstances like that, you've got certain assets that are really kind of cool and obviously very applicable to the 21st century leadership model. So just email me so we can work that out. Again, the question there is the evidence of, right? So email me with that, but we can definitely work it out. When you are done, you're going to submit the image of your final ideal office space here in this box. So you've got the video, you've got the picture, and then you're going to do a little reflecting. So how did you implement the SMART goals through this process? How did you manage your time for this task? You have the entire week. So how did you manage your time throughout the entire week, knowing that I expect you are working on this class at least 75 minutes a day, Monday through Friday? Why is it important to work on time management and organization skills? And then also don't forget to connect this to the readings in your answers. So I am going to be looking for specific connections to the content that we've learned in this course, okay? And then tie this into what you learned. Also, we're going to be looking for from the interviews you did in parts A and B. So lots of connections. That's what I'm looking for here in this written component, because there's only the one written component for this assignment, okay? Okay, and that's pretty much it. So with that in mind, you've got the two components, right? The two interview components. So the first part is discerning who you're going to interview that's going to be different from who you will interview for your last project. The 3 teacher interviews, making sure you're showing evidence of the interviews. And then you get to do the office space composition. And so again, my expectation is you're doing 75 minutes Monday to Friday. So this is well over 6 hours of time to work on this project that's been allotted to you. And that is all you have been assigned for the entire week outside of your participation activities. So I expect this to be handed in on time. It would, especially since this entire project is about time management. And I expect that when I look at your document and I see the revision history, that you have done this over a course of time and not just Sunday night, from 3 a.m. until 7 a.m. Okay. The rubric is available in Dropbox. You will submit the link to this with editing privileges shared in Dropbox. And that is it. If you have any questions, you want to pop into a Google Meet, send me an email. Otherwise, I hope you have a great week and I'll see you online.